I want you to remember this moment. Your phone lights up. You see their name on the screen. And before you even read the message, you already sigh. Your chest tightens a little. A strange heaviness spreads through your body. And if you've ever had to toss your phone aside, bury your face in a pillow and silently think, please, just leave me alone for a minute. Then this video was made for you. They didn't yell at you. They didn't betray you. They didn't do anything that looks obviously wrong. And yet, after one coffee with them or one 20-minute phone call, your soul is basically begging for airplane mode. You feel empty, your mood drops, your energy disappears. And this is the most important thing I need you to remember right now. That feeling does not mean you're too sensitive. It does not mean you're weak. It may be your nervous system trying to warn you about something, while your logical mind is still busy making excuses for it. The hidden phenomenon. We've been taught to think exhaustion only comes from work, deadlines, lack of sleep, or financial stress. But one of the most draining things on this planet can be people, or more specifically, in psychological terms, energy-draining people. And no, I'm not talking about obvious villains. The most exhausting people in real life don't walk around looking dangerous. Sometimes they're family. Sometimes they're coworkers. Sometimes they're people you've known for years. They may be the person who always plays the victim, the one who somehow turns your "I'm tired today" into "yeah, but my life is even worse." And somehow, every time, you end up becoming the only audience member for a 4-hour emotional podcast. No skip button, no ending, no escape. They unload all their frustration, resentment, and negativity, and leave feeling lighter. And you're the one left with the headache, the tension, and the strange exhaustion you can't explain. And maybe you didn't even realize how often this has been happening. But if this feels familiar, stay with me, because this goes deeper than most people think. The neuroscience of emotional drain. So why does this happen? Why can a conversation that looks completely normal on the outside leave you feeling like you just ran an emotional marathon? The answer isn't just personality. Part of it is neuroscience. First, there's something called mirror neurons. Your brain was designed for empathy. When someone in front of you is hurting, anxious, overwhelmed, or emotionally unstable, your brain starts mirroring that state. That helps human beings connect. But here's the problem. If you spend enough time around someone who constantly radiates tension, confusion, helplessness, or emotional chaos, your nervous system starts reproducing that state inside your own body. Even if your day was fine, even if nothing in your life is wrong, your body starts reacting as if you're the one carrying the crisis. Second, there's the role of the amygdala, the brain's alarm center. When someone keeps complaining, pressuring, blaming, or emotionally pulling at you, your brain can start reading that interaction as a subtle threat. Not a tiger in the wild, but still a threat. And once that alarm system activates, stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline start rising. Your shoulders tighten, your mind gets foggy. Your body shifts into a low-level survival state. That's why you can leave a perfectly civil conversation feeling weirdly tense, restless, or completely drained. And third, there's cognitive overload. Because around emotionally difficult people, you usually aren't fully relaxed. You're monitoring, editing, managing. You're thinking, should I say this? Will they take this personally? How do I calm them down? What response won't create more tension? In other words, your brain is using enormous energy to emotionally manage another adult. No wonder you feel exhausted afterward. And maybe no one ever told you that this kind of tiredness is real. But it is. The nice person trap. Now here's the harder question. If it feels this draining, why do you keep staying in it? Why do you still answer the calls? Why do you still sit there listening? Why do you keep becoming the safe place for people who leave you depleted? Because many of us were trained to become the good person. We learn to confuse kindness with being emotionally available at all times. We confuse patience with slowly abandoning ourselves. So we suppress our discomfort and soothe ourselves with excuses. They're just going through a hard time. They had a difficult childhood. They need someone right now. If I don't show up for them, who will? And yes, sometimes their pain is real. Their anxiety is real. Their insecurity is real. Their wounds may explain a lot about how they behave, but hear me clearly. Their pain may explain their behavior. It does not give them unlimited access to your peace. Understanding someone does not mean you have to absorb everything they bring into the room. That is where so many caring people get stuck. And the truth is, sometimes you are not only tired because of them. You're tired because of what you do to yourself when you're around them. You hide your real thoughts. You make yourself smaller. You stay agreeable. You swallow your frustration. You play therapist, emotional support system, and peacekeeper. All at once. And that inner conflict wears you down. Because your body knows when you are betraying your own limits. And maybe you didn't even notice how much of yourself you were giving away just to keep things calm. The realization and the boundary. Real emotional intelligence is not just about empathy. It's also about discernment. It's the ability to recognize unhealthy patterns and respond with boundaries. Because compassion without boundaries can quietly become self-injury. And the good news is, setting boundaries does not have to be dramatic. You do not need a huge confrontation. You do not need a 5-page explanation. You do not need to make a scene. Sometimes the strongest boundary is simply a quiet step back. Less access, less instant availability, less over-explaining, less emotional volunteering. You reply slower. You take fewer calls. You stop overfeeding interactions that only survive because of your energy. And if you have to be around them, you become simpler, shorter responses, less emotional fuel, less engagement, not cruel, not cold, just no longer available for the same exhausting dynamic. And over time, people who feed on constant emotional access often lose interest when you stop giving them so much of yourself. The mic drop outro. Your brain, your energy, your attention, your emotional capacity are not things to hand out carelessly. They are some of the most valuable resources you have. And the more often you let draining people consume them, the less you have left for your goals, your peace, your loved ones, and the version of you that's still trying to grow. So tonight, don't ask yourself, why do I always end up exhausted around people like this? Ask yourself something deeper. What kind of energy have I been calling normal, even though it has never actually been healthy for me? And if you're still watching this, you've probably felt this more than once. Maybe it's time to stop calling it normal and start protecting yourself like it matters. Because it does. You've rested long enough. Now it's time to turn on airplane mode.